tonight we have world-renowned ophthalmologist and refractive surgeon, medical director of InView Eye and Laser Center coming this summer, Dr. Bruce Anthony Rivers. What's up, Doc?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. I think I'm one of those people that needs to go all the way around the block to get to the corner. So, I always do things the hard way. So I grew up in Trenton, New Jersey. Single parent household. My mom was a waitress, and for me, I wanted to be a doctor since I was like 8, but really didn't see no way for that to happen. Joined the Navy under the guise of, the recruiter was like, hey, you join the Navy, we're gonna send you to college, we're gonna take care of you, and I found out that was a lie. Like, dude signed me up for 4 years, right? So now I'm in the Navy, 4 years. I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? And so I was like a medic. And at the time I was going to school at night, going to Temple University. And but because I was in the Navy, they were like, you gotta go out to sea. So I was like, man, what can I do to keep from going on a ship? So I was like, let me find a job that they don't go on a ship. And I was an eye tech, like they don't do eye surgery on a ship. So I was like, I'm good. I can go to school at night. But I was wrong. Like they sent me to the Marine. So I ended up not being able to go to school at night. And just kept pushing, man. I ended up getting a scholarship to college, and didn't get into medical school. So back to the Navy, doing finance and budget. Like lived on a ship for 3 years, deployed like 3 times, and then I applied to medical school again. And when I was in DC, and I got into Howard, and again, the way my life always goes, I was like thinking the Navy was going to pay for it. The Navy was like, no, we're not going to pay for it. Army offered. So I told my wife, I'm like, yo, you know what? If I join the Army, this is a good look. They don't do nothing. They don't go nowhere. So, I signed up, Army scholarship. 3 months later, man, 9/11 happened. So, I graduated from Howard, do a year of general surgery, and then I got sent to Iraq. And so I did like a year in Iraq with a combat unit, and then I got picked up for the eye surgery program. So for me, like I've told you plenty of times, B, like I'm just, I'm like can't get right. Like, things just.
If you had like all these speed bumps, like what, or I don't know, what was it in you that made you like just keep trucking on?
I always tell Brian this. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people that when someone says I can't do something, that's kind of like what motivates me, And so, there were times where I had like bosses that were like, I had a boss that was like, if I have anything to do with it, you'll never go to medical school. He was like, I'll make sure you never get in. And stuff like that motivates me. You know what I mean? Especially when it's somebody who doesn't have my interests at heart as a black man. So those kind of things have always been the things that have motivated me.
Married back then, when you was in the Army?
Yeah. So I got when I came to DC at the time, my girlfriend was going to Howard for law school, and I got into Howard for med school, and we were.
So y'all was pushing each other for real.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what's
up.
up.
Yeah. Doing the Huxtable thing, as everybody say.
So what is your mindset the day of surgery? Like, let's say if you have 7 cases and you got to knock out, you got 7 people's lives in your hands that day. It's got to be a different mindset from clinic day to surgery day. Like, what is your your routine when you wake up? Do you have a ritual that you do before you go in? Like, what's the mindset?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, if you ask most surgeons, the best time is being in the OR. Like, that's the most fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, he tried this experiment with us. He sent us to, it's called like the Enhanced Performance Lab. And so basically what they do is they send you there and they put these all these like sensors on your head. And then they basically try to get you to picture like a scenario going wrong, and you're able to like watch your breathing and everything on the computer, and then like try to refocus so that like you can calm yourself.
Wait, what?
Yeah. And so the example he would always give was like, you know, you're going on a mission and like, you know, you get in the water and before you even get to land, something goes wrong.
Before you actually had your first surgery, and then what was your mindset and that you actually had when you went into your very first surgery? Like, were you nervous? Were you confident? Did you think you were going to be able? Do you think your experience in the military maybe even prepared you for maybe that very first surgery that you had to do? Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So, you know, I think, you know, honestly, I think what prepared me was being at Howard, man. Like that was what prepared me, because, you know, at Howard, first of all, at Howard, it was the first time for me where I saw like a bunch of people that looked like me doing things that I was like, man, like we can do that, like, you know. So that was the first thing. The second thing was you could just be, right? Like you could just be, and you didn't have to worry about like if this person's being an asshole to me. Like at Howard, they're being an asshole. They're just an asshole. It ain't like, you know, are they being an asshole to me because, yeah, you know what I mean? Are they trying to like sabotage me?
Yeah,
well, no, because everybody, you know, so I think my Howard, as a matter of fact, my very first real surgical experience at Howard was my first day as an intern. You know, I just graduated from Howard. I'm going to be at Howard for general surgery. And I'm on like the neurosurgery rotation, but, you know, Dr. Dennis is already in the OR. Y'all had like a trauma case. So I'm like, oh man. So I throw my scrubs on, you know, I run in there and he's like, you know, what took you so long? I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. So I, you know, jump in the case and I'm like, man, we are in this woman's brain. Like, this is crazy, right? And so, you know, but I'm thinking like, I'm an intern, you know, like this is, you know, I'm a doctor, but I'm an intern, right? And so, you know, we're almost done with the case and he's asking me questions, you know, do you know how to do this kind of stitch? Do you know this? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, all right. And he just pulled off his gown. He's like, all right, I'm gonna have you go ahead and finish. You know, do this, and this. And then he like walked out. And I'm like, yo, wait.
Wow.
What you doing?
Wow.
You know? And then he came back in.
This
and he was
is
like,
your very
first day. He's like, came back in. He's like,
wow.
Don't have them call me because you don't know what you're doing. And he just rolled out. And I was like,
wow.
What is he doing? And so the nurse was like, listen, he only does this to people that went to Howard, you know, because he knows that you've been here. She's like, you're going to be okay. I'm going to talk you through everything. Yo, my scrubs were soaking wet. I was like, freaking out, man.
I can imagine.
Yo.
I can imagine. Oh my God.
From that day on, I was always like, you know, every day you coming in is I mean, you just got, you know, there's no kind of like, you know, I can coast. You know, nah, you can't coast. You know, there's nothing that I've seen, you know, surgically that I would be scared of. You know,
Wow.
No injury, no eye injury that I've ever seen where I'd be like, where now I would be like, oh man, like I'm worried about that. Like, you know,
the ER may call you. You know, they may not know a serious situation with the eye until like an actual ophthalmologist may get there. Like, give us an instance where like you walked in and you're like, oh, that's not what you said was going down.
We got this 2-year-old. I think it's just pink eye, but like, you know, this is the second time that they've come to the ER. And I'm like, pink eye? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you know, you want me to just tell him to come in tomorrow? And I'm like, nah, like I'll be there. So I turn around and I go back. And, you know, when I get there, like I see the kid with his mom and like I walk up to him. I'm like, hey, my man, what's going on? And as soon as I look at him, I'm like, oh my God. Like his whole iris was hanging out of his eye. And I was like,
what?
I have a low threshold for coming in. You know? Very, very low threshold. But that's happened to me. That's happened to me so many times. You know, where they were like, "Oh, it's not that big of a," you know, they call me at midnight. You know, I don't want to wake you up, but you know, well, you already woke me up. You know, this is what I think is going on, and you know, they'll say something, and I'm like, I'll be right there. Yeah.
I guess times to be an on-call ophthalmologist. Like, what time of year is it? Like 4th of July? Is it New Year's? Like, what seems to be like the worst timing?
Or even time of the day too.
Yeah, time of day too.
4th of July is always bad, and like Christmas, like right after Christmas. And at the time, I was on call with one of my best friends, and so he and I were going to do the case. And so we called it OR, tell them, hey, we got this little girl that's coming down. We're going to be down in about 20 minutes. So me and him go down there in our scrubs, and we walk in the OR, and the scrub tech is like, where the hell y'all been? We got these 2 surgeons about to come down. The AC is not working. We need you to fix the AC immediately. And I was like, oh, well, I'm Dr. Rivers. This is Dr. Crawford. We're the ones doing the case. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Watch your mouth.
But once they got an IV, man, you can always calm somebody down. Give them,
True.
give them some vitamin H, some Haldol or something, and that's
Some vitamin H.
they're out. A little Michael Jackson mojito or something, Oh, man.
The longest you've ever been in the OR for one single case?
Man, so the longest was 10 hours. That was not a
Wow.
that was a kidney transplant. So when I was at Howard, I was on a transplant team, and those cases they're long. I mean, they're really long. So about 10 hours.
I can imagine.
Longest eye case was about 4.5 hours. 4, almost 5 hours. Yeah, longest eye case.
So like in these high pressure situations, like in these, how do you wind down? Like,
oh man.
Yeah, do you ever feel like tension after the day? After you have to be focused for so long. Like, do you ever, just when the day's over, like, how do you relax?
Yeah, just
Or wind down.
Music, man, and I've always lived a long way from work, so I usually have a long drive, and so it's just honestly, but music. For me, that like is always what does it.
you ever take your work home? Like, do you ever like, like certain situations or operations, like it really kind of stick with you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Give like a talk, or I have to teach, because I'm dyslexic, and so for me, like the way for me to like prep for those things, I have to like memorize like the entire slide, the entire presentation. And so my taking things home is probably spending more time on stuff like that, like the actual surgery is like, again, that's the fun part. It's now CBD is interesting. There are a lot of things coming out where CBD has been shown to have some benefits, but to be honest with you, usually you want to do something that's going to really bring your pressure down. Like if you've got an eye pressure problem, you want to bring it down.
We're actually taking joy in doing those type of surgeries.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like cataract surgery. I love refractive surgery. I used to do a lot of facelifts, which I don't like too much. Like, honestly, the facelift, the procedure is fun, but the patients are high maintenance, and
I can imagine. That makes sense.
It's high maintenance. I love getting a good outcome, and I like the challenge of, doing like with a facelift. Like my goal was always, if you went to your high school reunion, I would want people to be like, oh wow, you look good. What have you been doing? As opposed to someone going, oh, who did your facelift? Like refractive surgery. Because for those two things, people get like immediate results. They're always very happy. And so it's just that feeling of giving someone like better vision is like, there's nothing like it for me, If you take Viagra or anything like that, you need to have your eyes checked because, I've had maybe like 5 guys go blind from Viagra. Yeah, the motorcycle is that there are a lot of people that drive that should not be driving.
Wow.
A lot of people. guys should not be driving. I'm like, no, I got to check your vision in your right eye, and then we'll check the left. She's like, nah, let's just check the left. I'm like, no, seriously, I need to check your vision. She's like, I can't see anything out of my right eye. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, what happened? She's like, it's a false eye. And I was like, oh, okay, what happened? And she was like, contact lenses. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah. So she slept in her contact lenses. She had went out the night before. She got like a real bad infection. And there are certain types of infections where, like, if you're in a hot tub, you know, you're in Vegas, you're in a hot tub, there's a bacteria that lives in hot tubs that will eat right through your eye, like within like 48 hours. And
For our special guests, we like to do like a rapid
fire.
Q&A session. So, all right. So, Cali or Miami?
Miami.
Miami. Bank account of an ophthalmologist or an anesthesiologist?
Ophthalmologist.
Best rap album of all time?
Oh man. It's a toss up between Wu and Jay-Z. Man.
I knew Jigga was gonna be.
All right,
in
there you go, Jay-Z.
I knew Jigga was gonna be.
Yeah.
I knew Jay had to be in there. Jay had to be in there.
All right.
Reasonable doubt.
Okay.
Reasonable doubt. Versus only built for Cuban links.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Greatest quarterback of all time?
Oh man, Warren Moon.
Warren Moon. Okay.
All right.
I like that. That's
I
numbers
like
right
that.
All
there.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Mumble sauce on the chicken wings or on the side?
Oh, on the chicken wing.
Yeah.
With an extra side.
That's
I'll
good.
be on there.
Something on the side.
There's something on the side.
I got one. If you weren't a doctor, you would be blank.
Man. I don't know. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. I probably can't say it.
Pimping.
There you go. It's confidential. It's confidential.
Type it in our chat.
Type it in the chat. All right, I got one. Howard Homecoming or Temple Homecoming?
Howard.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no, is that real question?
Nice watch or nice shoes?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
That's a good question.
The watch.
The watch?
The watch.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I got one. Pink eye comes from like they said, like fart particles. True or false?
In that case,
I never heard that.
probably looking for love in all the wrong places. It sounds like. I did see a dude that had chlamydia in the eye.
I know, right?
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Chlamydia.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Oh, he was nasty.
Yeah.
In the eye.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not a good look.
No, it-
Like, no pun intended.
it was-
I really enjoyed this, man. I can't thank you guys enough. It was definitely fun.
Oh
Appreciate
man,
it.
thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, appreciate
you
it.
got a little applause on there.
Dr. Bruce.
Hey,
Yeah, man.
hey.